Dorks and Forks.
For centuries, humankind has laughed and feared clowns, from court jesters and corporate spokesclowns to serial-killing clowns and people wearing clown masks while ringing doorbells. However, one clown is probably the most well-known of all, the clown prince of crime, the Joker. He's had many variations since his debut in 1940, and several Hollywood actors have attempted to successfully portray him. And today, we're going to be discussing Joker, in case you missed it.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are tonight's entertainment. It's time for Who Do You Trust? Hubba, hubba, hubba. Money, money, money. Who do you trust?
You just ask the same questions every week. How's your job? Are you having any negative thoughts? Oh, I have my negative thoughts.
All of that chit-chat's gonna get you hurt.
Oh! What's with that stupid grin? You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?
This town needs an enema.
Wait till they get a load of me.
And now, people of Gotham City, the moment you have all been waiting for.
Welcome back. This is the In Case You Missed It podcast, where we review recently released titles to streaming services and Redbox. I'm Jay Bump, your host, and across from me is the notorious...
Brian Wild. What's going on, Jay? Thanks for having me on your show, buddy.
Hey, thanks for having me in your lovely house.
Oh, yeah, no problem. So we're going to talk about the Joker today. Yeah.
That we are.
I rented it from Redbox.
I watched it on demand.
Laid in bed this morning with the beautiful Heather, and we watched it. I took some notes. So we had something to talk about?
I took some notes as well.
Nice. So what do you want to get into?
Well, I thought maybe you could just give the crowd, the audience, a little brief synopsis of what the movie was.
Sure. Well, IMDb has it listed as in Gotham City, mentally troubled comedian Arthur Fleck is disregarded and mistreated by society. You can say that about just about anybody nowadays.
Correct.
He then embarks on a downward spiral of revolution and bloody crime. This path brings him face to face with his alter ego, the Joker. Batman. Sorry, I don't know where that came from.
It's okay.
So, I really liked it. Didn't you?
We have differing opinions on this film.
Oh, well, hopefully that'll make this recording interesting then. So, okay, so you're saying you didn't like it.
No.
I really, really liked it.
So, give me some ideas of why you thought it was a good film.
Well, let me bring my notes out here real quick. So, starting off, I liked the stylized look about it. I feel like I was trying to place it. They used the old Warner Brothers logo there in the beginning. I was trying to place it, and I was like, man, what is this, the 80s, 70s, 60s? And then it was like, well, are they kind of setting it like New York during the trash protests? And I think that was in the 60s, though. I think it was in the 60s. Late 60s, where the trash people stopped collecting trash in New York
Before
City.
my time.
Yeah, and then later, and of course there are spoilers in this podcast. So
yeah, sorry about that. This is a very spoilery review.
So either you've seen it already and you want to hear what these two knuckleheads think about it, and kind of how we analyzed it,
or you haven't seen it and you're gonna be like, oh,
yeah. So there's a scene where I guess Bruce Wayne's dad, they come out of the theater, and on the marquee it says Zorro the Gay Blade. So I Googled that, and it put us right at 1981.
Which seemed apropos for the setting of the movie and the look.
Yeah, and the look, the logo, the cars, they're all very early, those celebrity cars, the very boxy
Yes,
look.
there's no hybrids that I saw on the road or anything like that. Yeah. No smart cars driving around.
Yeah, what I liked about it was, was it a commentary of the state of mental health, especially in males, in modern society today?
I think that's what they were going for, but I think they missed that completely.
I don't know if they did. So, but there were so many levels especially under this administration, where I feel like mental health has declined in America. Anxiety, division. I think you could draw a lot of parallels to what was going on in the film, even to the point where like almost trans movement, identity, being able to be yourself inside of an oppressive society.
I guess I could kind of see that point. There's another great movie. It's called Don't Be a Menace to South Central while drinking your gin and juice in the hood.
Okay.
And in that movie, there's a great line that is uttered a few times by Keenan Ivory Wayans, where he just basically says, "Message." Oh my God, that's all they did with this movie. I swear, like they had a message 2x4 and kept beating me over the head with it.
Yeah. Well, but you didn't like that. See, I appreciated it.
I would have appreciated if it was maybe a little bit more subtle.
But, haven't we already seen that movie with Joker, right? I mean, because you mentioned in your intro about all the people that have come and tried to play the clown prince, right? And perhaps all those different Jokers, they've had their story, right? You've had the comical, you've had the really dumb,
the ridiculous,
the ridiculous. They're just right. And I feel like this film started as a script about a person who liked to dress as a clown, and society didn't accept him. Right? I feel like this film could have stood on its own without any Batman. Take all the Batman references out of it.
But if you're going to do that, then why make it a Joker movie?
Oh, man,
because then it's just a cash cow saying, "Hey, look, I'm making a Joker movie."
I feel like there was a script floating around, and somebody got a hold of it and said, "Dude, let's just fucking throw Batman into this thing because it could be the Joker."
Well, they definitely threw Batman in it because, I didn't see this movie when it came out in the movie theaters because I purposefully decided I wasn't going to go see it.
Okay.
Because anybody that knows me knows that Joker is my favorite, not only my favorite comic book character, he's my favorite literary character.
No wonder you're mad at it.
So I went in when this movie came out saying, I'm not going to go see it. And also, I can never pronounce his name. How's his name?
Joaquin Phoenix?
I never was a big fan of his.
Wait, so you don't like Joaquin Phoenix?
I've never really liked anything he's ever been in, but I will say...
What?
I liked him in this.
Oh.
I did like him in this.
He was real good.
He was really good in this. It was the only thing that actually kept my interest in the movie was actually watching him perform.
Yeah, his performance is out of sight.
Yes, and from what I understand, he's nominated for an Oscar, which...
Yeah, well...
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, I'll have to look that up. And
I know he's at least up for a Golden Globe or one of those Hollywood awards.
Yeah. Well, it made $96 million U.S. opening weekend.
I'm surprised it only made that little.
Yeah, $55 million was its budget. So it made a little more. Gross USA total was $334 million it made. And then worldwide gross was actually $1 trillion.
1 trillion?
I'm sorry, $1 billion. It made $1,070 million.
A trillion would have beaten the Avengers and...
Sorry about that. I added a comma where I shouldn't have. Hour 22 minutes long.
Remind me to have you write a check for me at some point so you can add an extra comma.
Right. I wish. Nobody gets paid for this. I really enjoyed it. I thought Joaquin... I think Peter Griffin said it best when he was like, "Oh, it's like a... What did he say? It's like a hand-lipped reminder of what could have been."
Which is something I think I discussed with you earlier about. I always preferred River Phoenix as opposed to his brother.
Yeah.
But, it is what it is. And, yes, I did enjoy his performance. As far as the rest of the movie goes, I enjoyed the way it was shot.
Yeah, I'm trying to see who the cinematographer was.
I thought it was very aesthetically pleasing. I liked their use of color. Mm-hmm. Other than that, I really could have cared less.
Wow.
I enjoyed the music up until one point, and here's a spoilery review part. You've probably seen the infamous shot of him dancing as the Joker on the staircase outside. And in the trailer, I think they have him dancing to Send in the Clowns. In the movie, no. It is like a song that you've heard at any kind of sporting event where it's like... da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, even if that's supposed to be satire,
Yeah.
that's a horrible choice of song.
It was like Moulin Rouge.
I mean, they could have done something from that, and it would have made more
Well,
sense.
because Moulin Rouge, like, it was so, like, some of the covers, like, remember they did, like, Nirvana? And it was just, like,
God.
it took you completely out of the realm of that sphere because it threw in a modern song. It was almost like A Knight's Tale, right? When they were doing the...
But see, I liked what they did with A Knight's Tale. I liked when they had that.
See, that drives me crazy.
I don't know. For some reason, A Knight's Tale, it made sense when they did that music. This, it threw me completely out of the scene. And after that, I just remember watching going, now I don't even like any of the music in this movie anymore.
There was a lot of dancing in this film.
Oh, yes. It was a big plot device. In order to further the story along, we'll have him dance. Or we'll talk about what other mental disorder he has.
We'll let him chain smoke and dance.
Yes. Or, I have another father-daddy issue to deal with. Which I thought was, it went from his, whoever dad to, now it's Bruce Wayne's dad is my dad. And now it's,
Oh, man.
the Robert De Niro character was looked at as kind of a father figure.
So the director of this film goes Todd Phillips.
Todd Phillips.
Now, you might think the films that he has previously done did not qualify him to make a film like The Joker. He did Old School.
The Hangover trilogy.
Yeah, he did Due Date.
Road Trip.
He's best known with like hanging out with Zach Galifianakis and Vince Vaughn.
Yeah.
Will Ferrell. And then he goes and makes this movie.
Which I didn't have a problem with, the director choice because everybody's allowed to try something new, and apparently this was a passion project for him.
Well, because he grew up in New York, so in Brooklyn, so that whole. It's a love letter. I wouldn't say it's a love letter, but it's a kind of a love letter to New York City.
True.
A lot of it is it deals with the environment of New York City, the stairs, the architecture, the running through the streets, the people. You know what I mean? There's a lot. So I think there's a lot of smartness in the way this was made, and but to have those kind of comedies in your background, to work with those kind of actors, so maybe the look wasn't entirely his. Right? Maybe
it's quite possible.
Like perhaps the cinematographer really gave it that look.
Which does happen from time to time. I mean, American History X.
Yeah, do you know
directed
who?
by a guy that shot commercials.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
That was a good. Oh yeah. Did you watch that film or the series Films That Made Us on Netflix?
Yes, I think so.
They kind of go behind the scenes. It's like Dirty Dancing,
yes,
Ghostbusters, Die Hard.
By the way, Dirty Dancing, great movie.
Great movie. And speaking about soundtrack, that they were dancing to like click tracks or something when they were rehearsing because they didn't have the rights to the music yet. But who shot it? So why don't you rant a little bit while I look up who the cinematographer was?
Okay, so let's delve a little bit more into why I didn't like this movie.
Please.
Other than, as I said, the plot devices used to further along the story of him dancing and the mental illness aspect of, hey, he's got a new mental illness and the pseudo father figures. There was the whole thing with the mental illness. So I get that they're trying to bring forth that mental illness is a thing. I just think they went about it wrong because it was completely wrong.
Yeah.
His symptoms don't match up with other symptoms, and these symptoms don't occur. And then, again, spoilery, so he finds out that he's adopted by his mother.
Mm-hmm.
His mother...
And they thought it was Thomas Wayne, or Bruce Wayne's dad.
Well, no, he had nothing really to do with it.
Well, no, but you remember that's what his mom told him.
Yes.
This is a big spoiler alert.
But then he found out later.
Yeah, that it wasn't true.
Exactly.
But I thought it was a cool twist.
It was a twist. So he finds out that he's adopted, and he finds out that his mother has delusional disorder, which is a very rare disorder, and it's not genetic. Or sorry, it is genetic.
Yeah.
So he's not, they're not related. But he has it too. And it's a rare disease. So I thought that kind of, oh, wow, it's a super rare disease, and they both just happen to have it.
Yeah, that's a little...
Along with the slew of other things that he had that don't coincide with the other one. Like the writing in his book, it's all, spelling errors, and it's
pornography.
Right? Which I did think that was a funny part in the movie when he was on stage doing his stand-up act, and he pulled out his book of jokes, and the first thing they show is like this naked picture of a woman in the book, and I'm like, I was like, that made me laugh. That was a good joke.
But also, when you say the misspelled words, you're not talking about will, that whole thing where he's like, will my death make more sense than my life?
Well, that was in there. I mean, that was a misspelled word.
But was it? Would he make more money in his death than he ever did in his life?
I don't think it was written that smartly.
No,
I don't.
You don't think so?
No, I think this movie had a lot of lazy writing.
Really?
Yes, I do. Like I said, to use those plot devices to further along the story, and then so we get to.
Well, Todd Phillips and Scott Silver both wrote it.
Okay, well then I have problems with both of them. So every character other than him in this movie was basically a throwaway character. I mean, can you remember any of the other actors? Like, who was your favorite secondary character in this movie?
Well, first of all, it's called the Joker, to be fair.
But still, he is interacting with people in this movie. A lot of people he's interacting with.
I don't know if there was one. Well, you had what's his face, Robert De Niro.
Robert De Niro,
right? And we saw what happened to him. It's like everybody that was in his life, he basically killed.
Yeah, because everybody in this movie was written to portray basically a horrible person.
Yeah.
Other than his neighbor down the hall, who he fantasizes about, and then they try to make you believe that he's in a relationship with her. Because that's the other thing this movie did, is they tried to trick you here and there. It's like, oh, this is what's really happening, but actuality, it's not.
Yeah.
When it was kind of obvious, Like, no, I'm not buying that all of a sudden he just got a girlfriend.
Well, but he didn't.
I know, but
it was
that
all
was
a figment of his imagination, which I thought,
that was the point. They just kind of like, oh, look, here it is, but it's so obvious that it's a figment of his imagination.
Sure.
So I felt like there was a lot of that.
And then there's a
going on
sequence where, the flashback sequence where it kind of explains to you, look, no one was really there next to him.
Which I didn't think was needed because I already knew it wasn't there.
I don't know, well, but not everybody's as smart as you. Not everyone's such a good writer as you.
I wouldn't go that.
Speaking of writing credits, what was the second writer? Scott Silver. Let me tell you what his writing credits were.
His name sounds familiar, so I think he might have written something.
He wrote the Untitled Hulk Hogan biopic. He also did The Joker. He did the screenplays The Finest Hour and The Fighter. He wrote 8 Mile. Interesting. With Eminem. Kind of gives you that gritty, street-level vibe.
Right? He was like, oh, I'm watching Flashdance, and I feel like I could put Eminem in this and rewrite it. Yeah.
Dude, you're killing this guy. You're killing these two guys, man.
Hey, I love Todd Phillips. I love Old School and Road Trip. I thought Todd Phillips made a great cameo in his own movie Road Trip as the creepy guy sucking the toes of Amy Smart. Like, that was cinematic genius right there. Like, if you're gonna put yourself in a movie, do that.
Sure. He also did the Mod Squad, in 1999, and John's 1996.
That's a very profound list of.
We can thank IMDb for that list.
Yeah.
He had special thanks in Requiem for a Dream.
Love that movie.
It's a good one. Well, so yeah, I don't know. I really liked it. I was going to give it out of 4 forks.
I was wondering when we were going to get to the rating system.
Yeah, because I think maybe do you have more to add to this, or?
Oh, I mean, I could go on for days about this movie, but we're not going to have a day-long review. I don't want to put people through that because they'll probably just be like, oh my God, I'm tired of listening to this guy talk. Yeah, so the ending, or I wouldn't say really the ending, but the scene where he's finally on Robert De Niro's show, and he's being interviewed, and he's dressed in the makeup.
It was so good.
I mean, it looked good. I did like the look that he had for it. Again, I liked the use of color in the movie. So
Speaking
I thought
of,
it was fun.
let me find this cinematographer too while you talk.
I liked the look of the set, and I was like, it's very like Johnny Carson-esque. I was like, that's cool. But then I just hated how, again, here's my 2x4 with the word message branded on it, and I'm going to beat you over the head with it. Where he starts talking about how, he doesn't have an agenda, and he doesn't have any motives.
He's not into politics.
He's not into politics. And then 2 seconds later, he's like, but this is why I'm doing this, and it's because of people like you, treating people like me. Basically saying, I didn't want to do this because of politics, but I'm doing it because of politics. Because people are paying attention to me now.
Yeah. And then they kind of... That scene was pretty intense, though.
Oh, I loved it when he blew Robert De Niro's face away.
Yeah.
I thought that was great. And then he just stood over him, shot him a couple more times.
Yeah, which I really like because...
I liked it too.
I don't like Robert De Niro. I feel like he's...
Oof.
I feel like...
Do you not like him now?
Yeah, I don't think I like him now. I think maybe The Irishman ruined it again
I still
for
get
me.
to see The Irishman. Yet.
Oh well, maybe we'll have to do
it.
an hour-long thing for The
We
Irishman
can do
because
that.
it's that long.
I love
of a film.
Scorsese's my favorite director. So.
Maybe we'll do that next. Or the people listening at home, feel free to write in the comments below what you would like us to review next.
Please feel free. I have a huge DVD collection, and
Yeah.
I have no problem going to see movies. I love watching movies.
Yeah, and we could always bring cult movies and trivia back on this channel. We could review a cult movie and ask trivia about it. I could quiz you.
And I could keep winning.
Yeah. Well, you already won.
Very true.
You are now hosting your own
Right?
podcast.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah,
I won the grand prize.
All right, so keep talking about this ending here while I look up
Okay.
the shot.
So after, the shooting and him basically saying, I didn't do this for any reason, but I did because, again, lazy writing. So he gets arrested, and now everybody in Gotham City is rioting because they're happy that he did this, and he's a man of the people, and I'm like, I don't buy it.
Yeah.
I don't buy that everybody's going to be like, oh, look, the guy that shot that, our favorite talk show host. I can really get behind what he's saying. So he gets arrested, and, the riot comes out, and they crash into his car, and they drag him out of the car, very angelic-like. And I remember watching it going, that's not, if somebody's in a car accident, you're not supposed to move the body unless the car is on fire, which it was not, because you could permanently damage him.
Yeah. Well, it was germane to the plot.
It was very germane.
If you think of like well, they kind of did the same thing in Game of Thrones, right? Where they kind of like pull Jon Snow out, from the mud pits, or the slaves to bring Daenerys out. It's where his people rescue him from the torture of the society that's against them.
Oh yes,
and they lay him displayed to be this.
It was a religious reference. It was basically, he is our Jesus, is what it was.
It was a very Jesus moment. I'm not
Yes.
gonna lie about that. Yeah.
I wouldn't go into the Game of Thrones references because I don't really want to get into Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Well,
that last season was a doozy.
I think all of them are not doozy.
Oh, man. All right, so here we go. So the cinematographer is Lawrence Sher, S-H-E-R.
Sure.
And let me tell you about the movies he also filmed. He's in pre-production right now for The Starling and Black Adam. He did a documentary called Most Likely to Succeed. He did The Joker. He shot Godzilla, King of the Monsters, which is pretty cool. He was director for photography on War Dogs, Wish I Were Here, The Hangover Part 3, The Dictator, The Big Year. It's funny he did The Dictator because supposedly the director of this film was supposed to do the first Borat movie.
Really?
Yeah, I wonder. I guess they all know each other or something.
It certainly seems that way.
Yeah, he did that. Oh, he did he shot all the Hangover films.
Okay.
He shot I Love You Man. He shot the Caveman TV series. He shot Paul.
The Caveman TV series. Wow.
Yeah, he did. He also did Paul with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost.
An underrated movie.
Yeah, so I'm still trying to figure out where that visual look came from because you don't see a lot of that in those movies. You don't see a lot of that look.
Yeah.
In either the director's or the director of photography's previous films.
I mean, the closest I could think to is maybe like like Hangover 2, where they go to Hong Kong.
Oh yeah.
Like maybe because that's about as like I guess dirty and gritty as it kind of gets in
Yeah.
a city. Like because Vegas is just bright lights and
Yeah. Interesting.
yeah.
But there was a lot of like lens flare, and they were kind of putting the camera into the light.
Yes, it was
kinda
very.
thing.
It was the J.J. Abrams School of Directing.
Yeah. Sure. Who went to the Steven Spielberg School of Directing.
Very true.
Well,
And
that's
then-
we're about 20 minutes in.
Wow.
Yeah. So what do you got? Any closing statements?
So my closing statement. Usually the way I do a movie review is I give it a grade.
Okay.
A
But-
through F.
But I was also thinking, since this is Dorks and Forks, perhaps we could go how many forks we give it. 4 forks being the best.
Okay, so if we're gonna do forks, then I will give it bent one bent fork.
Jeez.
So basically, I will give it a half, and I only give it a half because I liked the acting and I liked the cinematography. The rest of it, I just was no.
Huh. Well, I'm going to give it 3 forks up, right? Because I enjoyed the message of it. I think, with today's political climate, I thought it was a, commentary of what's going on today, which kind of made the storyline relevant. I love the way Joaquin Phoenix, hair, lip, and all, portrayed the Joker. Supposedly he lost 55 pounds.
I mean, it was obvious he lost a lot of weight.
But, not to get on this, but, okay, so who else lost a bunch of weight to try to win an Oscar?
Everybody.
Everyone and their mother, right?
It's either you lose a lot of weight or you take your clothes off.
Yeah, and it's like, do I get my Oscar now, right? So he won the Golden Globe. Do you think he deserves the Oscar?
I don't know exactly who else is nominated
Yeah.
for the Oscars, but
Well,
I enjoyed what he did, so I would say I don't have a problem with him being nominated.
yeah. Let's see, Oscar Dodds for Best Leading.
I'm sure somebody from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is nominated.
Yeah, I think Brad Pitt.
Which, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole nother podcast.
That's a whole other podcast.
Because I really like that one, too.
I remember you saying it on Facebook that you really liked it, and I think I responded with going, "Are you crazy?"
Yeah, you're like, I don't know you anymore.
Like,
You're dead.
You're dead to me, sir.
All right, so I guess that's going to be it.
Yeah. Good
So,
first show.
so you gave it 1 bent fork. I gave it 3 forks up.
Yeah, I gave it 1 bent fork, I guess, laying on a table in a street next to a bunch of messages.
Oh, man. Oh, boy. All right, well, until next time.
Until next time. And yeah, everybody, please feel free to comment and maybe give us an idea of another movie that's been recently released.
Yeah, and if you agree or disagree with this, feel free to leave the comments in the comments below and recommend something that we could watch and review. And also, while you're there, if you want, hit subscribe and like or dislike.
But hit like.
We prefer the likes.
Yes, prefer likes.
But even bad press is good.
I'm not pandering.
All right. Well, until next time, this has been the In Case You Missed It podcast on Dorks and Forks.
I'm Jay Bump.
I'm Brian Wild.
Peace, we're out.
And what's with the makeup then?
My mom died. Celebrating.